Hello and welcome, guys. This is another Big Three news with Afrik football. We'll be doing this on a regular basis, and we have Mr. Wamba here today. Last time I did a video, and everyone was like, "You guys are very biased. You never say nice things about Orlando Pirates." But Mr. Wamba is here, the OG Orlando Pirates fan. As a Kaizer Chiefs fan, Mr. Wamba, your people were shooting me. Do let's get right in. Give us the salutations, Mr. Wamba.
Guys, thank you. I know the Kaizer Chiefs fan was out here shooting us last time, but we at Pirates were very happy with the business we've done so far, and we have a trophy in 2022. Challenging all Kaizer Chiefs fans to show us a trophy for 2022. Yeah, we've got the MTN 8, and yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome, like, share, and subscribe.
All right, guys, we're gonna dive right into the stories. Today we have four stories. We have four well-researched stories that have been trending in South African football. And as we said last time, the thing is we're gonna be giving you the best of the best in the news, a recap of the news. We're trying this new format. So if you like it, do drop us a like and let's get started. Mr. Mwamba, Mabena moved to Orlando Pirates just last week, but there's been some interesting stories that has come out and stated about why he left Raw AM. Do you want to take us through that story?
Yeah, I was one of the few people that was listening to his interview on Metro FM, and he talked about his stay at Raw AM. It wasn't the most pleasing kind of stay because he says he actually went some months without actually getting paid. He didn't get his salary for quite a number of months, but
That is
he
true.
managed to take them to court and they won those proceedings. So I guess he's now in a happy space. He's probably already received his money, or better still, maybe his money is in the pipeline. He's probably going to get paid soon. But looking at him and him being 35, I feel Raw AM didn't treat him properly, and I feel at Raw AM he was one of the good players, or better still, he was one of the players at Raw AM who had that sort of experience. Whereas he's a player who once played for Orlando Pirates from 2009 to 2014, so he came in with vast experience, and I believe Roy AM should have done better in terms of
Oh,
payments
Mr.
for him.
Wamba, this is the issue that I faced in the last live stream when I talked about Mavena and Craig Martins. I said, these guys are tired. 35 years old, and people came at me with the force and the fire saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Guys, we have an Orlando Pirates mediator here. I hope he's going to be on your side because me, I'm shooting here today. One,
Yeah,
he was at Orlando Pirates back in 2009. Yes, please, Mr. Wamba.
yeah, yeah. During his stay at Orlando Pirates, he actually played 57 games, is it? And he got 7 goals. Well, for a midfielder, those are not bad numbers, but I feel now that when he comes back today, he's coming back with more experience. He might be 35, but I feel it's one of those moves where you make it not for him to start necessarily, but to bring him in for the young players. So he got 7 goals last time around. Hopefully, he can get more than seven this time around. But for me, I feel this kind of move was for the young players, so as the young players have a leader in the team, a leader who's training with them, a leader who's got vast experience with South African football. So I feel that's the reason why Pirates signed this guy.
Yeah, well, you see, guys, you Orlando Pirates fan, we have your Orlando Pirates mediator, and I do see it from there, Mr. Mwamba. But I did state this in my previous video, right? I did state that as the Kaizer Chiefs fan, I believe this move is one way. I don't think it's what was needed. I feel like the many young talents, like the young talent, we're going to talk about later in this video. And guys, if you're enjoying this content, let's do like and subscribe. I see lots of you are joining us. Would like to hear. Do you think? Oh, Mr. Mwamba's talked about Mabena and the reason why he left Raw AM, stating that they had lots of salary wage issues. He had to take them to court and get his money. Well, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on this particular story. Well, guys, as a professional, it's unprofessional as a club for you not to pay your players. When a player signs onto a contract, you agree on the terms and you agree on everything. It's very unprofessional for Royal AM to not be paying a player who you signed willingly on your own without anybody forcing you. You entered into a contract and said, we'll
True.
give you X amount of money. Then when it's time for you to pay the guy, you go on and say, no, we don't want to pay this player. Why are we paying this player? This, like, why do you bring on issues? And that is the thing that I had a rant about last time. African clubs are very unprofessional. South African clubs as well are very unprofessional. Generally, African clubs are half the time, even national teams. I won't say any country, but there's a country where every time they have the coach leaves because they're not paying him. It's the same for the clubs. Every time the South African clubs or African clubs, some Zambian clubs as well, I'm Zambian, we've had players go and play, apply trade at a club. Then when it's time to pay, you don't go pay. The guy goes unpaid for 3 6 months, and this is a player. He's got a family, he's got kids, he's got people to look after. Let
Definitely.
us be fair as African footballers. Yes, Mr. Wamba, chime in.
Yeah, and I think it dwindles down to something Pete Somsomani said, where he said, South African football in general is probably 20 years behind Moroccan football, because you never hear these problems in the Arab world, or rather North Africa. Of course, there are a few players who have these problems in North Africa, but most of them, you find this a scandal of, okay, we thought this guy was this good and we gave him this amount of money, then this guy couldn't even maybe make a fuss in training, so that club maybe stops paying the guy. But if a player is consistent, and if this player is
Mhm,
actually doing what he's supposed to do, more often than not,
mhm,
you find clubs like Wydad Casablanca, Raha Casablanca, paying
mhm.
players that use, and players are happy, and managers also get money, because I was shocked what Wydad is giving the manager. It's more than what the
How
Zambian
much
national
is
team is
mhm,
giving. It's more than what the Zambian
really?
national team is giving its money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it dwindles down to the nitty gritties. You see, where if clubs in Morocco can give the managers that much, Morocco. No wonder we are seeing Morocco play in the World Cup semi-final as the first African team. So in
I
I
just
see
see you
South Africa.
sprinkling in Morocco.
No, no, I didn't want to put them in, but now that we're talking about player salaries, when I look at Raw AM, it looks like a decent club. A female owner that are now playing in CAF football. There's some money at least in CAF football, so I expect them to pay players. For me to hear that Raw AM actually hasn't paid some players for months, it's mind blowing, and it tells me where we are really as Southern African football in terms of football currently, and why maybe Southern African teams don't qualify for the World Cup. It's the small things that matter. Well,
And African clubs in general. So I think we need to be paying our players what their worth is in gold. And if you guys do agree with this sentiment, do let us know in the comments below. And Mr. Wamba is back. Yeah, Mr. Wamba, I was just agreeing with everything you're saying and saying that African clubs
yes,
should pay their players. Well, if you sign a contract, guys, it's very simple. Sign a contract with a person that you can pay him so that we don't have these issues. It's every time the player, the agent are dragging the club to the arbitration court of sports. It's every now and then the clubs go there. Kaizer Chiefs as well, similar stuff like transfers, doing weird transfer things. We get banned as clubs. Let us stop that as African teams and let us focus on giving the players what is worth. It's a career, it's a profession. Let us all respect each other's professions. And Mr. Wamba, we're going to be moving on to our next story. All
okay.
right. Kaizer Chiefs moved to Polokwane City. I don't know what's going on with that graphic, but that graphic was proper, but now it's not. But yes, hit
Uh,
us with the good news.
I, I think most people can see. Okay, so there was an interview that eDisky TV did um with the municipal council of Polokwane,
Shot
and they
and
talked
Kululeko.
to shout out Kululeko, shout out Junior, Vilikazi, great team there. Those guys are our mates. So we rather eDisky TV talked to Sevaka. I do not know. Hope I didn't pronounce his name wrong, but he's more like in charge of the municipal council in Polokwane. Can you get me?
Mhm. Yes, I
Okay,
can
yeah,
get you. I
he's
can
more
get you,
like in
Mr.
charge of.
Wamba.
Okay, okay, he's more like in charge of the municipal council in Polokwane. So he ended up saying that Kaizer Chiefs, before the end of the season, will at least play 3 games there in Polokwane, at the Peter Mokoba Stadium, and yeah, pretty much that. So the games anticipated to be played there, And so far, there's been a suggestion of 3 games that should be played there. Maybe walk
Mhm.
us through there of the 3 games that are suggested to be played there. But there are also rumors of other teams that wanted to play there, and a team that's already currently playing there. So it will be interesting to see how they'll deal with that situation.
All right, so the biggest thing, guys, I'd like to first say is my club, Kaizer Chiefs, is a very big brand, and you guys should put some respect on that name. We are such a big brand that as a club, we are reviving the tourism of Polokwane City single-handedly after the COVID pandemic. That is how great Kaizer Chiefs is as a club, and that is why we are going to be playing our matches at the Peter Mokabe Stadium. The 3 matches. So, Mr. Mama asked me to talk about the 3 matches. And the 3 matches that are going to be played at the stadium supposedly will be the Golden Arrows game, the Royal AM game,
Yep.
and the Swallows game. These are the games that are earmarked to be taking place out there in Polokwane City. So, oh boy, in the municipality of Polokwane, that is. So, guys, it's something big. I'm gonna tell you one thing, right? A club like Kaizer Chiefs playing their home match in a place like Polokwane City is gonna drive tourism. It's gonna have fans traveling, and only when you are a big brand are you allowed to do such things. I know that Marumo Gallants are the team that want to actually move to this stadium, but the thing is, for now, I think it's gonna be a very good thing that Kaiser Chiefs to drive some generate some traffic to there. If the Gallants do go there, other teams will visit them, like Orlando Pirates, Kaiser Chiefs, maybe some preseason tournaments. And I've known Polokwane has also held certain tournaments like the Kosafa. When South Africa is holding the Kosafa, Polokwane City does have a couple of those games being played in Polokwane itself. So this is a very good move on the Polokwane Municipality Sports and Recreation Manager. And I think Kaizer Chiefs as a team are doing their bit in the corporate social responsibility by having their games there. Mr. Wamba, anything else to add on that you see from this deal? What else would you like to see from this deal?
I remember there was a time when rumors broke. I think that's the beginning of the season where people were saying Morocco Swallows will probably also be using the venue. But looking at the interview by Mr. Sekaba, I ended up realizing to say that maybe Swallows hasn't even yet communicated with these guys because from what I read, he seemed a bit not knowing too much about what's going on over the situation. But it
Mhm.
seems like one of those scenes where you're just in an interview and something comes up and you don't want to disclose much. So we really can't speak for him. But it looks like the Swallows' move to Polokwane is not happening anytime soon. But Kaizer Chiefs playing 3 games there. Big ups to Kaizer Chiefs. They bring
We're a
in more
big team.
tourism. I highly doubt win a trophy in 2022. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I was saying, so it's a good move for Kaizer Chiefs. The people of Polokwane, Kaizer Chiefs is a big team, of course, as you said, and they have fans pretty much all over South Africa. So, the people of Polokwane will go and watch Kaizer Chiefs play at least there in 3 games, and it just adds a different dynamic to the league, and it's a good thing for Chiefs in terms of money. It's a good thing for Polokwane City in terms of tourism. It's a good thing for everyone. So I feel if something is positive, usually as pandits we draw on the negatives because those are the things that get us likes. But if something is good and something is positive, I guess we should be happy with such developments. So for me, final verdict, I'm happy with the development, and hopefully Kaizer Chiefs don't do this only for this season, but even in future seasons to come, where they say we've maybe given 3 or 4 games to Polokwane City. So as Kaizer Chiefs fans in Polokwane get to witness a team play at least every season.
All right, guys. Mr. Wamba, thank you for analysis on this Polokwane City move by Kaizer Chiefs, guys. And if you are enjoying this content, do drop us a comment. A comment is essential, guys. We'd like to see your comments. Ask us questions. Let's get interactive. How do you feel about Kaizer Chiefs moving to Polokwane City for a few games? Does that disadvantage some of you who live near Kaizer Chiefs, the main stadium? Does that make you feel unnervy? And we're going to move on to our next story, Mr. Wamba. This is the Mayo story. Zwane came out and said stuff to Mayo. Oh, for lack of a better term, I need Mr. Mombo to dissect on this one. What did Zwane tell this youngster?
All right, so Zwane pretty much comes out and says, Mayo, you're a great kid, but okay, firstly, he plays for Cape Town City, and there are
Mhm.
rumors linking him to Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's a classic case of every South African youngster currently wants to go to Sundowns because that's where the money is and that's where the trophies are. So Zwane pops up and tells the youngster to say, "You're a great player, Mayo, but if you're going to make the move to Sundowns, you need to look at yourself in the mirror, evaluate yourself, and think to yourself to say, is this the best move I can make for my career? Will I get game time at Sundowns? Looking at Mayo, he's a player at 4 goals last season, and already this season, out of 12 games, he's already scored 4 goals. So he's a player that's improving, and he comes in at the age of 24. So he's probably 2 to 3 years away from his prime. So what Zwane is basically trying to tell the youngster is, if you make the Sundowns move, it's more like a pendulum. It's a two-way thing. It could swing left, it could swing right. If it swings right, you definitely get game time there. You'll be recognized. You probably become a Bafana international. You'll be a regular there. If it swings left, you'll probably be benched for the greatest time possible. You probably maybe play 2 or 3 games a season or something like that. So because Sundowns has a lot of talent in his position, so that's what basically Zwane is trying to tell Mayo.
Yeah, that
You
is
can
true.
probably
Yeah,
jump
Mr.
in.
Mwamba has literally summed up everything in relation to Mayo. He's talked about the 24-year-old trying to leave Cape Town City and has been rumored to be moving to Mamelodi Sundowns. This is a story that we're going to be covering here on Afrik Football up until it gets to its final conclusion. And a bit of trivia for all those who might not know this, but this is former Kaizer Chiefs player Patrick Mayo's son. So right now, there's a picture on the
Oh,
screen right now. Patrick Mayo with his son, who is Kanyisa Mayo, definitely. So if Kanyisa Mayo does go to the Brazilians, which I think would be, I don't know. I don't think this is a wise move though. Where is he going to fit into that team? Is he going to battle the people? And Zwane is right. He told them Sundowns is different. Sundowns is the peak and the premier of South African football. So if Mayo is going to move to Sundowns, he has to know there's going to be lots of competition. The position he wants to play, there's going to be probably like six guys who came from whatever club they were, and they were all equally good. So I guess all I can say for right now until the deals finalize this, all the best to Mayo. The money is good. And Mr. Wamba, from our last video, I had a running commentary stating that CEO, owner of Supersport United, Stan Matthews, of course, has been saying things like players these days are moving because of the money, like making it seem like alluding, in my opinion, to the fact that these players are lacking the will and the prestige of playing for a particular club. They just want the money. There was Gavin Hunt recently in the news talking about how they always lose players to bigger clubs like Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs because of the money. How do you feel about, like, for example, in this Mayo story? Mario is probably going to leave Cape Town City because the Brazilians are going to break the bank to get this boy and they're going to give him money. But how do you feel about CEOs talking about players and saying that these players only want money? I think personally it's unfair. What is your comment on that?
yeah. I also feel it's unfair. As CEOs, you run the business aspect or the business administration side of the club. So if you look at a player like Mayo and you're probably CEO of Cape Town City, and you sit down and you realize, okay, this might be the best young player I have right now, you probably need to put measures in place to keep the player at the club for as long as possible, not necessarily breaking the bank, but at times it's incentives that keep players around. Give him a bit more money, make him maybe the face of the club, make it, you know, try to give him those Pogba vibes where you assure the player to say, you'll be the face of Cape Town City. Cape Town City sees you as a future. You will be, our brand ambassador, our main brand ambassador. We'll do A, B, C, D, and, keep you in such an aspect and, give him these incentives. And I feel that's what most clubs are not doing. Most clubs will just wait for the transfer to happen. Player moves to Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates, and then they'll just come over and just say, "Nah, the players nowadays lack the will and determination. They just want to play for Chiefs, Sundowns, Pirates, and get the money." But the deal that comes in at Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns is half of these players are probably people who support these three teams, because these teams have been there for the longest time and they've been doing well for the longest time. So it's like trying to tell a guy who's been supporting Pirates since he was 6 or 7 not to move to Orlando Pirates when Orlando Pirates want him and Orlando Pirates are offering the guy more money. It's not logical for you to call out this guy. What you need to do as a team is to say, I know you want to move to Pirates, but we'll give you a better deal. We'll make you, the club will focus around you. We'll sign players at the club that will make you better as a player. That's what these guys
Mhm.
are supposed to be doing as CEOs, and concentrate more on making money, concentrate more on the business aspect of football, and not on attacking 24-year-olds or 23-year-olds. It doesn't make sense.
All right, so guys, if you've heard our sentiment on how this Mayo story is going and what Zwane has told Mayo before he transfers to Mamelodi Sundowns. So now, if you are enjoying this video, remember to like and subscribe, and we're going to move on to our final story of the day. The young man, the myth, the legend, the boy of the hour, Mabena, playing for South Africa in the under 17 team. Mr. Mwamba hit us with that good news.
Firstly, congratulations to Bafana and Chipolo Polo for qualifying to the Under 17 Africa Cup of Nations that will be hosted in Algeria. It will be hosted between two towns, that's Algiers and Oran in Algeria. So there are definitely games where we're looking forward to. The towns are actually 6 hours apart by bus
Mhm.
and pretty much 45 minutes apart by plane.
All right, we seem to have. Oh, Mr.
Can you
Mhm.
get me now?
Go on, Mr. Mwamba.
Yeah,
You dropped. Yes, go on.
yeah. When we look at the Siawonga Mabena story, it's a good story, and this is a young lad to look out for. In all honesty, after watching, I didn't watch the first stage of the group stage, but I've been following it since the last game of the group stage. He seems like that player who's got the pace. He's got the talent. He's got the eye for the goal. He knows where the goal is. He doesn't need to be looking at the goal for him to actually score goals. And I know most people will be like, nah, you guys are overrating a 17-year-old. But when you look at the number of goals he scored for at the Kusafa tournament, Mr. Zuze will give us the numbers there. Yeah, but when we look at the number of goals he scored at the Kosafa tournament, he seems to be the real deal. And the Kosafa final will be there today between Chipolopolo and Bafana Bafana. And I hope it will be a cracker of a game. Me being Zambian, I'm definitely supporting the Chipolopolo boys. Hopefully they'll win the tournament and the trophy.
Mhm.
But no bad blood between South Africa and Zambia. In all honesty, they're the two best teams currently in Southern Africa. So we expect to see this more while the final is Zambia South Africa, because already currently Zambia's Copa Queens, the under 17 Copa Queens, and Banyana's under 17 are playing at the Kosafa right now. And the last I checked on that game a few minutes ago, the game was actually at 3-3 in the 76th minute.
All right, guys. So yeah, Mr. Mwamba has dropped us with some knowledgeable news about Mabena. We've talked from one Mabena to another Mabena. This is Siawonga Mabena. Boy has 9 goals in this tournament. Boy backed the hat trick. Boy is a wonder kid and a talent to watch. And that is the reason the big teams excluding Kaizer Chiefs, are fighting for this boy. The Bucks, the Buccaneers, Orlando Pirates want him. Masandawana want him. Sundowns want him right now. But there is a lot of things going on about this teenager. This teenager hasn't been in a traditional, I would say, what do you call this setup? He hasn't been in a traditional football setup where he starts from either Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, or Melody Sundowns academies. He's been more of in different leagues, non-league sides, and that's where you've noticed his talent. And it's big ups to Safa for finding such rare gems who aren't playing for the top 3 teams in the South African Premier League, and we really appreciate Safa doing that. I think this is a talent that we need in the world of football. Hence, that's why this youngster has a lot of tug of war going on him. He's only 15 years of age, I should definitely state, and he's really generating lots of intense interest from the sides that want him. So I'm gonna do a sensible transfer right now and say, Kaizer Chiefs, I'm your fan. listen to me. I think this kid is talent. Kaizer Chiefs, if Kaizer Chiefs is listening out here, let's jump into that fight. Let's fight for this boy. Let's get this boy. Him and Vilikazi, I feel like him and him and Vilikazi, not Tove, so him and Vilikazi at Orlando Pirates, at our academy, at Kaizer Chiefs in our academy, guys, it will be fire. Let's try and get this youngster. Then all I'm saying is there's a huge tug of war for this player. It will give you more story development as it goes forward. But 9 goals, Mr. Wamba, is his tally as he currently stands. He's a very good player. We'll see if you add to that tally today. So I'll ask you guys in the comments: do you think Vilika? Oh, sorry. Look at me. Do you think Mabena will get additional goals in today's game? Do let us know in the comments below. Mr. Wamba, any closing remarks for the video?
Closing remarks. So you guys always look out for Afrik football going live. We'll be doing this a lot more often, more especially with the transfer window that's around the corner, and yeah, pretty much that. So make sure you look out for Afrik football. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Like tell a friend to say, I've found the best channel possible. You don't have to look for news. Go to channel A, go to
True.
channel B. Yeah, you just come to Afrik Football. We'll give you the best news, and we've got our own people on the ground that we get credible information from. So you guys should always know that Afrik Football give you the most credible information, and we always go live at least weekly, twice. So make sure you subscribe to Afrik Football and tell a friend to tell a friend.
All right, guys, Mr. Mwamba has wrapped up the good news. Thank you for everyone who came through to our live stream. We hope to see you on Wednesday when we do our next live stream. This has been Afrik Football. We'll see you in the next one, and peace.